Hi everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope the week's off to a good start for all of you. Listen, something strange happened over the weekend. I noticed, and somebody made a comment yesterday. The video I put out Saturday night and the video I put out Sunday night. Well, my Saturday night videos, they don't get as many views as some of the weekday videos. So when the view count was really low on that, I was like, okay, well, keywording, nobody was as interested in this one. But then when my video, which came out on Sunday night for Monday, was getting no views, and I just kind of know the patterns when you don't get another view for so many hours in a row. And then somebody made a comment yesterday saying, hey, I hope everything's okay. You haven't made a video in a couple of days. So I'm thinking a couple of videos didn't show up there. Now, and I'll tell you what the video is, and I'll tell you why I do that little spiel every day. Today we're going to talk about the raw vegan lifestyle and emotional eating and adapting to the unexpected. Now, this is where I always tell people, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button now. And then click on the little bell and check send notifications, because I'm understanding that through some of the channels that I follow, that if you don't click on that little bell and you don't specifically click send notifications, that YouTube just randomly doesn't send stuff to people. So you have to do that on the channels that you want to watch. If you want to watch me, I'm not being so cocky as to say you have to go do that, but anyhow. Yeah, I thought today's video, hey, you might as well, if I'm going to do a channel, I might as well throw my life in there and kind of, work what I consider teachable moments through things that I'm going through. People made comments yesterday, regarding what I said about my plans maybe changing. Now, I'll explain it briefly. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail because that's just not my thing. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to postpone my Costa Rica trip. I don't know for how long, so I can't put a date on that or anything. What basically happened was I went to Pensacola for the weekend, came back. My mother was in the emergency room. She's in the hospital right now. Couldn't figure out what. She wasn't able to get out of bed on Sunday. She's got a problem with her wrist. Basically what it was, why she didn't have any strength or energy, they found out she had a urinary tract infection, and she's got a couple of spots on her lungs, possible pneumonia, although I don't know how she would have got, why, because she doesn't have any what I would consider symptoms. Anyhow, long story short, nothing's life-threatening. They'll get this cleared up. But she's probably, listen, my mom, here's the bottom line. My mom's 87 years old. She's in great mental condition. She's just as clear as a bell, clearer than I am, but her body's just weak. She's had arthritis for decades, and she's gotten to that point in life, like a lot of old people. She doesn't have much of an appetite. She doesn't eat a lot. Bottom line, she's just gotten older. Now, when she gets out of the hospital, I'm almost 100% sure they're going to, with her insurance, they're going to send her to the nursing home, which is a nice facility right down the hill from where we live, to do a 21-day rehab. Now, the reason 21 days is that has to do with an insurance thing, where they'll kind of get her more mobile again. Because they're going to have to work through that risk, because she can't do her day-to-day. I do stuff like shopping for her. I fix some food from time to time, but, I'm not a nurse. She still takes care of her day-to-day, going to the bathroom by herself, feeding herself, and things like that. So we're just going to have to see, how this thing progresses. And hey, it sucks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a Pollyanna. I don't do fake stuff, and I don't try to do little affirmations to trick my head. It is what it is. I love my mom. It's family. You do what you're going to do. I'm not going to lie. I hate where I am. I hate living here. I don't mean I physically hate living with my mom. That's the enjoyable part. We get along great. We share the space well together. But where I am, I'm just going nuts because I don't have anything around here. My day consists of, I work here at the house, which is one thing. There's no separation. There's not like you go to an office or you go somewhere else to work. So I work here all day. Basically all I have, there's no social life or even anything remotely, not even any place to go people watch around here. So getting out of the house consists of going to the gym every day and going out and buying food, usually once a day. But hey, we make do. Now, the reason I wanted to do a video today, and the reason you see that part about emotional eating, like I say, I don't know how relatable I am to people because I'm not as relatable because I can be kind of a robot. I just like I'm just logical. I try to be logical. I try to figure things out. I just try to deal what's in front of me. I was thinking yesterday, yeah, it's a stumbling block. I hate it. I really wanted to go to Costa Rica with every fiber of my being, but you know, it's just like if you're driving down the road. You're driving down the road. You come to you come to an accident, you come to something blocking the road, you come to road work or whatever. What are you going to do? You're going to have a meltdown in the middle of the road and go, oh my God, I was supposed to go down that road. Now I can't go down that road. No, your mind, it adapts. It goes, okay, here's the detour. You go this way and you move forward. Now, the reason that this video just came to me this morning because I was thinking, I still don't get it. I still don't get it. And I kind of want to get it so I can help people sometime. Emotional eating. I still don't understand emotional eating. Like people talk about emotional eating in certain circumstances when they're under stress, you know, when bad things have happened in your life. Now, okay, I'm not going to compare this. This isn't a tragedy. This is just kind of one of those stages of life type thing. You know, my mother's just gotten older. It's not a tragedy, but yes, it causes me a little bit of worry. I've been a little bit worried about my mother. Now I know a little bit more, but I've been a little bit worried. That's emotions I'm dealing with. I'm extremely disappointed that I don't get to go back to Costa Rica, but in none of this, and I keep, you know, for 6 years, I want to see if this is a real phenomenon, the emotional eating. There's just nothing in my logic, nothing in my makeup that when I'm going through a sort of a difficult time, when I'm not in the greatest of moods, I'm not going back to my Costa Rica, I'm not going back to my tropics. So I just don't understand the logic of why I would want to compound that, add to that, exacerbate that by eating some garbage, regardless of the degree. Like, why would I, you know, like this is the time where so many people, and people would probably understand, oh, well, I understand it. I could probably go off the rails and eat damn near anything, and people say, oh, well, that's to be expected. Why is that to be expected? I just don't get it. Just because you know, like I say, just because of certain emotions, I don't understand, or that's just not how my body works. So I guess I can't speak to that. All it would do, it's kind of like, you know, food is the same. Food's a drug. A lot of the food that we've used in our past with all the chemicals and the reasons we eat it and the things that are in there, it's a drug. It's a drug. And why would we treat it any differently than, say, you know, alcohol or cigarettes? And haven't you always been told, I always remember that, and I can think back on that, like, you know, you have a problem or something and you think the solution to that problem is to drink, or I did back in the day. And the thinking being is, yeah, you numb yourself for a little bit without alcohol, but the alcohol just makes it even worse. The cigarettes, oh, I smoke a cigarette to calm me down. Oh, I had a lot of stress, so I smoked a cigarette. Well, bonehead, that cigarette does the opposite. That just makes you more stressed. That adds stress to the body, and that definitely does not help the situation. So the same thing with food. Like, why would I want to, and that's where I think people get into a downward spiral with that kind of stuff. I know logically in my head, don't get me wrong, I don't even have an inclination to do that, but okay, so you have a problem, you're depressed, or you have some sort of a negative emotion. Let's break it down a little bit. So you're like, okay, you want to eat and I hate that word with a freaking passion, my comfort food. So I'm going to engage in emotional eating, so I'm going to eat my comfort food. So now I'm already in a sort of bad, sad, unhappy, negative state of mind. So I add a substance to that is only going to enhance that negative mood. By the chemicals of that particular food, whatever, it's just going to make you feel worse. It's going to make you feel physically worse, mentally worse, emotionally worse, because then you're going to deal with the guilt of, oh God, why did I go ahead and do that? And it's also going to make your body, and it just kind of gets into it all feeds off of itself, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. No. In fact, you know, my mind's been going a lot of different places in the last 24 hours as I'm realizing, you know, I may be here, who knows? Who knows? I may be here indefinitely. So what am I going to do? Am I going to curl up in the corner in a fetal position with a bag of chips and cry and talk about how I'm emotionally eating and I got to get my comfort food to blah, 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 blah? I would hope somebody would smack me if I did that. Don't enable me with that kind of behavior. But no, you just do, you adapt. You move forward, you assess the situation, you make the best out of the situation. And also too, one thing I did yesterday, as bad as I want to go back to Costa Rica, as bad as I want to go back to the tropics, even with my mom in the hospital, this kind of sucking, I just stood in the middle of my house and I gave gratitude. And I thought in that moment of all the things I have to be grateful for. I don't need to be singing the blues. In fact, I'm a little bit superstitious. I'm almost afraid a lightning bolt would come down if I didn't show enough thanks, because I looked around. I've got a roof over my head. Over on that table, I got more, if I got stuck in this house for 6 or 7 days, I got enough bananas to feed myself. I've got oranges over there. Atolfo mangoes are coming in I can pretty much get as many Atolfos as I want these days. I see things are changing. Hey, if I don't spend the money to go to the tropics, let the tropics come to Jack. As soon as I kind of see a time frame on this, I'm probably going to get online and order a case of Mammy Sapotes from MiamiFruit.org. I'll probably order a case or two of papayas from Martha's Best. Now, that won't be if I do end up having to be here a good bit longer than what I've expected, that won't be a regular thing, but it'll be a nice little fill-in between the stuff that I can get anyway, between my Asian markets. And to be quite honest, if I'm in South Alabama, this is not a great area for this lifestyle, but I have a pretty decent amount of abundance. After I've been here 8 months, I've kind of figured out, okay, I can get this here. Oh, check out this place in Pensacola. Can get a little bit of this here, a little bit of this there. I fill in the gaps, but yeah, that's what life is. That's what life is. It's just, things come up every day and you choose how you're going to deal with them. You can deal with them one or two ways. You can deal with them, and that's how I used to do things. I can so much relate it to the booze. Problem comes up, drink that problem away, that problem just gets bigger. At the worst, it's not going to go away. It's still there when you wake up the next day hungover and you really don't want to deal with it. A little bit different, but sort of the same with the eating. You succumb to that emotional eating and eat your garbage comfort food while you're going through trying times in life. All that's going to do is going to make those trying times worse. It's going to make your disposition worse, and it affects your ability to solve problems. It affects your ability to deal with difficult situations when you have that going on. I need my wits as sharp as they can be all the time. And like I say, as soon as I assessed this situation and saw that, okay, I might be here a little bit longer than I thought, a lot longer than I thought, who knows? I'm actually gonna, when people think I would probably zig, I'm gonna zag. I will change this lifestyle up a little bit. In other words, you'll see a different mentality in me. If I'm going to be here from henceforth, there'll be a different mentality, because up until this point, it's all just kind of been willy-nilly, knowing like, okay, this is temporary. I'm just on hold until I get back where I belong, eating this lifestyle, which I believe 100% I belong in the tropics. So I was just feeling like, okay, well, I'm just holding on. If I'm more or less looking at this like I don't know how long I'm going to be here, so this is going to be long term, I'm actually going to get a little bit cleaner. I will probably be a lot higher raw than I have been here in the States thus far. And these going away on the weekend and eating at the restaurant and the cooked food in general will be fewer and far between. But anyhow, that's just kind of the situation there. It's no big bad thing. I'm not in any horrible mental state. It just is what it is. But anyhow, that's what's going on. Maybe this video helped you a little bit with the emotional eating part. Just try to take away that even though your instinct may go that way, that's only going to make it worse. That's only going to make it worse. So, you might, do what you're going to do though. If you like this one today, please give me a thumbs up. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.